Hey y'all, it's Valerie here at Pisces Mountain Farm, and today we're going to weed a bed to plant some beets and some carrots. This bed right here, this L shape, this is where I'm going to put my beets and my carrots. And I'm going to spend the day hopefully getting this weeded out, and then probably tomorrow I will plant my beets and carrots, but there's a chance that I'll do it this evening. I'm not really sure. I need to grab some wood or some cardboard or something to lay on top of my seeds after I sow them to help them germinate, because it helps keep the moisture on top and it also provides darkness for them to germinate, and it just keeps that surface from drying out so quick until they start to sprout. So I will do that once I get them planted, but I don't know why I'm talking about that now. I will just show you when it's done. So apparently I've let this bed get a little bit more overgrown than I'd wanted. So I'm going to come back and flame weed this. I'm doing this by hand because I didn't think it was this overgrown. I thought it was all just like mostly Creeping Charlie, which pulls up easily. So I was wrong, and I'm going to come back and flame weed this. I'll either do that a little bit later this evening, or I will do that tomorrow, and I will bring you along with me for that as well. So I will see you then. Okay guys, I just got out of the shower, but I decided I was going to come down here and flame weed that patch that I couldn't get weeded yesterday because it was too much to do by hand. So just remember, if you're doing this at home, to always have a water source around in case your grass or whatever catches on fire. I always have a bucket of water or a hose ready. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and flame weed this bed. The goal of doing this is not to torch all the plants to where they're blackened. As you can see in my video, I did have a couple spots where there were some dry leaves catch flame a little bit. And so what I do is I go through and I stomp them out, and then I water them. Anyways, the goal is not to blacken the plants. The goal is to just kind of burst the water, the cell walls, and then over the next few days the foliage will start dying back, and then here in 7 to 10 days, I'll probably do it again, maybe a little sooner if it starts to actively grow quicker. I'll go ahead and do it again. If not, I will just hoe that bed and plant it up. Either way, I'll either flame weed again or I'll hoe it and go ahead and plant it once these leaves are dyed, or these weeds are dyed. I'm going to take you over here and kind of show you the difference between what it looks like when it's burnt as opposed to what it looks like fresh. This little patch right here, you can see it still looks green. Those are some violets. But if you look over here, it's a different color of green. The reason this tip is important is because the color of green changes. When those cell walls are burst, it will take on a different tone. You're not wanting to char it all the way. You're just wanting to, like I said, burst those cell walls. Important tips for flame weeding are: 1, make sure you have a water source available. 2, make sure you're wearing shoes that have some kind of sole in them so you can stomp out small fires. 3, once you stomp out those small fires, make sure you go over it with water. 4, you're not trying to blacken all of your plants, you're just trying to burst the cell walls. And finally, you might have to do it again. Once you start seeing new growth, new greenery on your plants starting to come up, go ahead and do it again. I guess the cycle is 2 to 3 cycles of flayed weeming on average. Flayed weeming. The average is 2 to 3 cycles of flame weeding on average before you plant in it. And maybe most important tip I have for flame weeding is to check your local burn laws. Whenever I started this video, we were fine, but since then our local burn laws have changed, and right now, due to the weather, we're not allowed to burn at all. So with that being said, I had to switch tactics, and since I can't finish preparing that bed down where I was going to put it for my beets, I am now going to put them in this row here. We've already got some compost down and we've been layering it up here. So I'm going to lay some soil down and plant my carrots and beets. And I think that this might be the theme of this year for me. Just go with the flow and learn to turn on a dime, because things aren't quite going as planned, but they're still working out, so it's not all bad. And what else can you do except for work with what you got? So I'm going to get these beets planted. These beets that I'm planting out today are beets that I'm trialing. I am trialing a half sugar white beet, a Deacon Dan's beet. Oh, I lost my other tag over there. Hold on. And an albino beet. So I need to get these in the ground, but what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to save some of my seeds and trial these again in the fall. I also took all my carrots and made a mix, and I'm going to spread those today as well. So let me go ahead and get started on it. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is put some soil down. The second thing I'm going to do is put my seeds in. The third thing I'm going to do is water. And the fourth thing I'm going to do is lay a board over the seeds. And that is just to keep the soil surface wet, because these are little seeds and the soil surface dries out the quickest. And since it's best to direct sow them, you know, you want to keep that soil surface wet. So I will leave that board on there until they start to germinate, then I'll lift it. But also it's supposed to start raining this evening, and it's supposed to rain most of the day tomorrow. So I personally love to plant at those times. Okay, here's what my rows look like. Since the beets are trial beets and they're 3 different varieties and I need to keep them separated, I did 3 little rows. And this right here is where I'm just going to spread all my carrots. They're just a mix. I don't have to keep the varieties separate, so that's what I'm going to do. Whenever they sent me the seeds to trial, they were nice enough to send these printed off tags with it. So once again, that's an albino beet, half sugar white, and Deacon Dan's. And then down there I have a carrot mix. And I really, really appreciate the tag thing, because that's one of my least favorite seed starting chores, is making the tag. For my other veggies, I ordered a pack of these bamboo sticks, and I think it was $20 for 400 of them. And I just took a wood burner and a burnt carrot, and I did put it on both sides. I don't expect these to last for years and years and years. If they do, that'll be a boon. But the reason I got it is because using the traditional short little plastic ones, little plastic garden markers, whenever it's time to plant out, I always lose them. They get buried. The wind carries them away. I don't know what happens to them, but they always end up missing. So wanted to get something with a little bit more size to it, and I just stuck it down in the ground here. I made sure that it was all the way through the compost and down into the actual ground. So that's what I'm using for my vegetables. And I do already have some tags made that I use the little plastic ones to make. So I plan on just stapling them to one of these before I put them in the garden. Alright guys, I finally got my beets and my carrots planted. They're late, a little bit late, just like everything else. It's a very warm day today, it's almost 90 degrees, but after today it's supposed to turn a little more seasonably appropriate for this time of year, I guess. We always have days that feel like summer this time of year, but it is going to cool down after today, and these rains are going to bring in that cooler weather, and it should be the perfect weather for beets and carrots, hopefully. Since we couldn't continue flame weeding this bed due to no burn going into effect, we are going to cardboard it and mulch over it. And if I go to plant in this bed, I'll just cut down through the cardboard and dig into the soil. But doing it this way will help cut down on a lot of the weed pressure we have right there. Okay, this is no longer going to be our beet bed, but here's what it looks like finished. We just put cardboard on bottom and filled it up with compost, and we'll plant into it and mulch around it whenever it's time. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.